My boyfriend convinced me to try having an open relationship, and now he's sleeping with his best friend. My boyfriend, 26 meters, and I, 24F, have been together for 3 years. A couple months ago, my boyfriend suggested we try out having an open relationship. This came out of nowhere for me. Our relationship is great. Even with the pandemic we still try to have date nights at his place or mine, and we have a very active and fulfilling sex life. We don't have any problems, so I was really surprised he even thought of this. I asked him if this meant he wasn't happy in our relationship, and he said he's completely happy and it has nothing to do with that. That he'd heard of it and thought it might be something new and exciting that we can explore together in our relationship. He said it wouldn't be something permanent, and when we got engaged in the future, we were talking of making it official sometime next year. If things get better, we'd only be committed to each other. Honestly, I still wasn't so sure I wanted that, but he seemed really excited to try it out, and eventually he convinced me. I'd be free to sleep with anyone and he'd do the same. Only I said I didn't want him to tell me anything about his activities. He respected that and said it was fine. I never actively looked for anyone to sleep with though, because I still wasn't sure about any of this. When I'm in a relationship with someone, I have no desire to be with anyone else. It's just the way I am. Last night I stayed over at his apartment and then I left for work. When I got there I realized I forgot my phone and I was forced to wait until my lunch break before I could go back to his place and get it. When I got there I caught him on the couch having sex with his best friend. It felt like my stomach had dropped. Now the thing with my boyfriend is he's bi. He told me that when we first started going out and I had no problem with it. But this was his best friend, Ryan, who I always thought was straight, and now here they were having sex. I felt like I just caught him cheating even though I knew we had this arrangement. I didn't expect him to sleep with his own best friend though. Ryan got changed and left because he knew we needed to talk. My boyfriend apologized because he knows I didn't want to know about what he was doing. But I was more angry at the fact that it was Ryan. He argued that we agreed to be allowed to see anyone we wanted, and yeah, I know he had a point. It still hurt for some reason. I told him I had to leave and we haven't talked since. Like, I get that technically we're allowed to sleep with whoever we want, it just feels different that it's with someone he's been close to since high school. It's got me rethinking this whole arrangement and if I really want it to keep going. And also the fact that they were both fine with having sex with each other is really making me think differently about their friendship. Because like I said, they're really close. My boyfriend has crashed at his place a million times after their guys' night out, and if we're not doing anything together, he's off hanging out with Ryan. I don't know what to think about any of this or what I should do. The thing with open and poly relationships is that for them to work you need total honesty, and it feels like he wasn't. He wanted to finally fuck his bestie, so you couldn't say no without being an ass. I'd rethink the entire relationship tbh. He was deceptive in my opinion. I know quite a few open people and the basis for them all is disclosure. Also, most don't allow the partners to bring their dates home without consent from their primary. I don't want to ramble. It's late. This is a shitty situation. You let yourself talk into something you didn't want to do. In addition, it seems that you both haven't really thought it through and set some boundaries, aside from not knowing any details. Don't hold his actions against him now. But you need to decide for yourself if you can be in a happy and healthy relationship with him in the future. Even if you close your relationship now, he will probably stay in contact with his best friend. He will spend time alone with him. Do you think that you are able to be okay with that, without of permanently thinking what they might be doing right now? Leave. Too many red flags. It looks like you and your boyfriend want different things in your relationship. The fact that he didn't even mention that his friend was bi or gay is shady as fuck. I would leave, as it seems him sleeping with his friend may have been going on long before your arrangement, and this open relationship is not something you're 100% okay with. With him saying once you're married it will be just the two of you is probably a lie. He will probably just do it behind your back because he's had a taste of both worlds now. Plus he crashes at his place all the time. You don't know what the hell he could be doing all this time. I really don't want to believe he'd be capable of doing that before we started trying this out. But it has been on my mind even though it hurts to think about it. If that's the case, you have to sit him down and talk to him and tell him how you feel about the whole situation and be honest. Tell him how you really feel about this open relationship and his best friend.
Caught my dad cheating.
Hi guys. First a little backstory. My parents, both in their mid-50s, are married since they're 22. In 2005 my mom saw the cell phone bill where he wrote a number of 3,000-4,000 texts in a month, back in the day where there was no instant messenger. After some investigation she confronted him and he said that he's just writing with a woman. We had no evidence that he was there or had any sexual intercourse with her. He talked himself out that he just wrote with her and never saw her yada yada yada, and they stayed together, even though nothing was like it was before, because my mom was afraid to stay alone with 2 kids, 10 and 12, with no job. Right before the cheating, my parents founded a company and my mom put all her savings in it, around $100K. The company went bankrupt. My mom took care of him the following time till today. For explanation, December 2005 he got his first heart attack. Since then, he had another heart attack, 3 strokes and a lot of other illnesses. She always brought him nicely cooked food, fresh clothes etc. to the hospital, where he would lay very often, and was the almost perfect wife. Since some months, my dad began to act differently again and my mom got this weird gut feeling that he acts like in 2003 and saw some similarities in his behaving. I tried to gloss over everything that he did wrong in the last months because I wouldn't think that he would do this same mistake again. After some persuading, I took his phone when he slept and opened it with his thumb. I connected it to WhatsApp web and so we could read everything he wrote. I know, that's not right, but there was no other option for the peace of mind of my mom. She swore that if she finds nothing, she will never bring the topic up again. Another reason why they argue in the last years. My mom was right. He's chatting with a woman, with clearly naughty messages of their meetings. There's no room for doubt. It seems that the whole thing goes on for a couple of months. We even thinking that he might have another kid. The woman knows that he's married because a text with the woman said while they were arguing, "Stop talking like that to me, you can talk to your wife like this, but not with me. Don't come over this week, stay at your family now." We're documenting everything with screenshots because he instantly deletes every chat after they're done with writing. Now where I need advice. Even though I hate him right now so bad, I'm afraid that he'll get another heart attack when we confront him. He gets real easy angry and loud. The doctor said that he wouldn't survive another heart attack. How should we talk to him? I'm from Austria, so English isn't my mother language. Sorry for any mistakes. TLDR. Mom caught dad cheating and we're afraid that he dies of a heart attack when we confront him. If your concern is hurting your dad and can't bring up that you caught him cheating, was it worth finding out in the first place? This seems like an issue between your mom and dad. Even if she didn't have proof he was cheating, if she suspected it, then she needs to stand up for herself and change her relationship. If anyone is looking for proof that someone is cheating, then it's time for a serious talk. Because you'll either find something to support your theory or your trust is broken enough that you think they do it and lie. So yeah, I think you need to let your mom and dad settle their relationship and not get involved. I'm concerned that he'll get violent, that's why I will be present when they're talking about it just to be safe and let them talk for themselves. I don't want that my mom feels guilty if he dies of a heart attack. My question is, how she should manage it. Nobody is responsible for the consequences of your father's behavior except your father. If he has a heart attack because he gets angry at being caught being a liar and a cheat, that is 100% his fault. That said, if you want to minimize the risk, My suggestion is to calmly present it to him in such a way that there is zero room for him to deny it or argue about it. Don't tell him anything about how you know or how much you know, just that you know, and here's what we are going to do about it. If you really want it to be calm and unemotional, you could have someone else present that information to him, perhaps a family lawyer. It would be a surprise, of course, but they are masterful at presenting such information calmly and factually. In fact, if you had some new living arrangements already set up, they could just present everything to him as more or less a done deal. And if you just sign here, we should be able to get you into your new apartment next week. What if you minimize contact with him during the confrontation? Don't say anything for now, just distance yourself, and have your mother find a good divorce lawyer and send him the papers without a word from either of you. You already have the evidence, right? Maybe you can include it with the divorce papers so he knows you all know what he's done, and this way there is not as much stimulus for him to get angry with. He can only be angry at himself, but maybe not nearly as much as if your mom were to confront him in person and have an argument. I hope everything works out for you, your sis and mom. Thanks for listening so far. If story have an update, we will post here. Like, subscribe to our channel for upcoming stories.